Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Clubsport. Now this is part of the 4th generation Cayman, which has been in production since 2016, and yeah, it can be bought to compete in racing competitions as it is a track only vehicle. And yeah, being a track only vehicle, it means it's been heavily modified over the standard Cayman. Some of the aspects of it that have been changed include it weighing 187 pounds less than a Cayman GTS with a PDK gearbox. This also comes with a 6-speed PDK gearbox. It also has a welded-in roll cage, 6-point harness and race bucket seat, carbon fibre body parts, front suspension from the 911 GT3 Cup, racing brakes, lightweight forged wheels, slick tyres and a fixed rear wing, as yeah, a lot of Porsches nowadays have wings that come up at a certain rate of speed and then reduce at another rate of speed. So yeah, as you can see, it's been heavily modified. It's obviously a lot lower than a standard Cayman. It's been completely stripped out. There's no sound deadening, there's no passenger seat, no real dashboard, no real equipment outside of what you need for a racing vehicle. And as you can see from the rear, yeah, completely bare metal, nothing really there at all. But what is under there is a 3.8 litre flat 6 engine producing 420 horsepower and 313 pounds-feet of torque, which is quite a lot when you consider this only weighs 2,910 pounds, and like I said, that's 187 pounds less than a GTS Cayman, which has the same gearbox. So yeah, really rather impressive looking racing vehicle. As you can see again, very stripped out, all the things where you need them to be. And yeah, this gives you a really good entry level vehicle to racing competitions, really, because a lot of racing cars are inevitably going to be really rather expensive. And yeah, though this isn't going to be a cheap vehicle, because even a Cayman GTS isn't a cheap sports car, it's certainly a way of allowing racing teams and normal people that want to get into racing, you know, a way into that kind of thing. And yeah, with this car being as good as it is in terms of racing on the track, it's certainly going to be a way of helping people to learn tracks and, you know, improve their skills. Now granted, I don't normally review a lot of racing vehicles on this game or Forza Horizon 4, purely because a lot of them just don't have anything going for them, but I do review the ones that I find interesting or the ones that are a marked improvement over their standard road going versions. So yeah, let's get out onto the track and see how good this is in comparison to the standard Cayman. Right, so we're at Sebring International Raceway for a couple of laps, so let's see what this racing version of the Cayman can do. Now granted, I'm not the biggest fan of the standard Cayman or the GT4 or the GTS or anything like that, so yeah, the fact I'm reviewing this does say a fair bit in terms of how much I like in terms of what it can do in driving ability. Now granted, I'm still not a fan of the looks. It's not been improved by having all the racing paraphernalia on it and the fixed rear wing and the like, but as an actual driving vehicle and, you know, something to be used on the track and something to compete in racing events, it's really rather good. There's no denying that. And yeah, even though I would have preferred, you know, a road going car to be added onto this game in the August update, especially from a car company that I prefer over Porsche, it's still, yeah, a really rather good addition to the game. And yeah, it's mightily quick as well, as you can see. And the fact that it's naturally aspirated flat 6 as well means that it's got a really nice sounding engine, which, as you can see, revs up to nearly 8,000 RPM, which, you know, I've always preferred the naturally aspirated flat 6s from Porsche. And yeah, this is easily one of their better ones, especially in terms of something to be used on the track. Now, as you'd expect, this is quicker in terms of acceleration than a GT4, which we have on this game to compare against, which is from 2016, as this can do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, 0 to 100 in 8.183 seconds, and it will go to a top speed of 180 miles an hour. Now granted, this doesn't have quite the top speed as the GT4 because it has that fixed rear wing, as that can do 187. This is 0.4 of a second quicker to 60, nearly a second quicker to 100, and yeah, in general does handle a lot better, but then again I wouldn't really expect, you know, a road going version of this to handle quite as well as this, because this doesn't have to compromise in terms of, you know, everyday use or, you know, speed bumps or general road use, potholes, you know, and it's most likely never going to come up against rain as well, unless, you know, it's an event that's going to take place in it, or, you know, take place in a race event that has rain forecast in it at some point. But, you know, because it's got the slick tyres, it's able to make the most of any dry environment that it's in, which really does help in terms of keeping it really rather planted to the ground. It's also got its engine the other way around as well, so the gearbox is at the back rather than close to the front, which gives it a really good weight balance to it as well. And obviously because it has that welded in roll cage, it's a lot stiffer. Plus you can also adjust the suspension if you want, as accustomed to whatever track you're on, because obviously not every track's the same, and being a racing vehicle you want to be able to adjust it as and when you see fit. Now granted, it's not the easiest of cars to drive at sometimes, there is a limit to it, as you can see, as I am oversteering at points, but I'm far from the best driver, so I'm probably not going to get quite the best out of it. But even a complete novice like me is, yeah, still able to get a decent amount of time out of it, and a decent, you know, run out of it as well. So yeah, it's a really rather good car, and yeah, I can certainly see why Porsche would do such a thing, because it, you know, it is a hard thing to get into racing, especially in terms of the high-end competitions and the like. So the fact that, you know, Porsche is offering this car as something to buy outright with all of the stuff done to it already is really rather not only good of them, but also a clever move from them, as well as, you know, it's essentially free marketing for them when people are going to be racing this around on tracks, because people are going to see that it's a Porsche, and this is a Porsche that can do the kind of things that it's going to do on a track. And yeah, even though it's not going to be quite the same thing as a road car, you know, it's always worthwhile having, you know, these kind of halo vehicles that, you know, big up the rest of the brand, and you can certainly see that's what they've done with this. So yeah, really good vehicle, and I really enjoy driving it, which isn't something I can say about a lot of racing vehicles. A lot of them I just don't enjoy whatsoever, but yeah, I really do like this. And yeah, there's a nice couple of details in it as well that have been put on this game. As you can see, the little towing tag on the back there is wobbling as we move, which is really rather neat. And yeah, in general it is just a really rather good vehicle to drive, and yeah, I'm sure it will not only help people get into racing in real life, but on this game, if you've still yet to properly play it, it's a good starting racing vehicle to drive on this game as well, as it's, yeah, really rather easy to drive, even though it does have a limit to it. But it's about learning that limit, and you learn that limit, then you can learn the limits on other vehicles as well. And yeah, that's always a good thing, because yeah, there's certainly a lot of people out there that play on multiplayer, for instance, that don't know the limits of their cars, and make races a lot worse for other people in the process. So yeah, hopefully people can learn from this car, and yeah, eventually move on to the more powerful and even quicker stuff. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.